If you're the Carolina Panthers, you have to be thinking about the opportunity here as they take on the Colts this weekend. Here's what a couple of the Panthers players had to say in advance of this big matchup.
My decision, I mean, it lies in me getting healthy, you know, and doing that. As far as what Coach Fox has, he's got a lot on his plate. He's got more than just, you know, 2 guys that have won games for him the last 2 weeks to worry about. I mean, he's got a lot of things to deal with. The Indianapolis Colts, they pose a much bigger threat than me and Vinny, you know, standing here. I mean, it's going to be a big-time game.
We got to focus on us and not get wrapped up in, you know, what everybody's saying about this game. We got to focus on what we do and how we're going to play in this game.
All right, go back to Tim for a second now. Tim, you look at, we talked about this in reference a bit to, I think Doc made the illustration there about the receivers in New England. And you look at the Indianapolis Colts, when you have those receivers, it's one thing, and New England is doing it with these guys playing together for the first year. When you take on the Colts, everybody, it's like a glove on that offense. It's Harrison, it's Wayne, it's Dallas Clark. These guys have been playing together so long now, they know exactly what the other guy wants to do, and that makes you tough to contend with on any given Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, and these guys can beat you so many different ways, and that's the thing that's so tough about Indianapolis. You know, it used to be that they would take the big shots down the field, but when you watch what they did Monday night, I mean, they were so methodical in their drives. It was a little 5 pass here, 10 pass here, hand the ball off to a die, let him get 5 or 6 yards. I mean, when a team has so many different ways to beat you, it makes it very, very difficult. And, you know, it looks like Reggie Wayne is sort of taking over the #1 receiver job down there. But this is a guy, that one catch he made over the middle of the field towards it was just an incredible catch. I was like, that was a little Tim Brown-esque or something like that. But
also known as the original 81, right? That's the original 81 you're talking about. All right, go ahead, Tim. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, they're just a very difficult team. You know, New England wants to beat you with the big play, but Indianapolis can beat you any kind of way they want to right now.
Yeah, which is why looking forward to next week is going to be so great. All right, we talked a little bit about the Skins Patriots. In this case, Joe Gibbs was asked to assess what his team is up against this weekend against that big, bad New England machine. Here's what Washington's head coach had to say about what task his team is facing come Sunday.
We'll probably be the biggest underdog in the history of sports. Is anything held up against them? Do you have a game plan that would work against them if you do leave it here? Because I don't think anybody else has got one.
All right, so Joe Gibbs and the Redskins, hey, you're running into a buzzsaw here in New England. They get you on their home field. They're on a roll. Is this a lopsided contest as you see it? Does the defense Washington brings to the table make it not so, Baldy?
I don't think so. I mean, look, if you're going to beat the Patriots right now, you've got to keep the score down. Now, that's a lot easier said than done. Everybody has rung up at least 34 so far, but you've got to keep it in the 20s. It's the only chance you're going to have against that defense that they have as well. So if I look at the opponents of New England, Washington has the best defense, all-around defense. They've got a coordinator. They've got safeties that can fly. You got to win the numbers matchup. You got to rush 5. You got to get to Brady. You got to make him uncomfortable, and then you've got to use your 6 defenders against their 4 wide receivers, and you got to come up with a combination. Double on Moss, double on Welker. You take your chances with Stallworth. You take your chances with Ben Watson, and you hope that if he's got to pull the ball down, move, that will be enough for Marcus Washington, Andre Carter, somebody to get there.
Doc, how concerned are you about the fact that Jason Campbell last week threw for under 100 yards? The run game really can't find any routine other than just a jumble scramble in the middle of that line. They can't get anything going on the ground. It's Washington I'm speaking of. How concerned are you with the Redskins being able to generate enough offense where they can score more than field goals and put enough points up to beat this team?
It's realistic, but they're not going up with last week's game plan. Last week was a mental disaster for them because they didn't know who was going to be healthy enough to play. If they're healthier, and they will be much more healthier this week, and they'll come out and they got to sling it. I don't know what they'll do. I hope they don't do anything they've done in the past. And if they come out brand new, then again, I expect them to be highly competitive. Their offensive guys have pride, and they're embarrassed that they put this much burden on their defense.
It would help if they'd hold on to some of those passes that Campbell is throwing also. All right, Tim, before we say so long to you, how do you see this matchup between these two teams, New England and Washington?
Well, I really think Washington has a chance to win this game. I think we've said earlier, this is the best defense New England would have seen so far this year. And anytime you have a good secondary, you have a chance. And Baldy, you said something there, man, that I've been saying all year. Where is the five-man rush? Why is it that no one rushes this guy right up the middle of the field? He's a classic pocket quarterback, and if people would just make him move his feet, maybe he won't be as accurate throwing the football.
And with that, Tim, every time they rush 5, it keeps the back in protection. And so you can't get Lawrence Maroney out or Sammy Morris out or Kevin Falk. And so now you've got 6 defenders against those 4 wide receivers, and you finally now get the numbers game in your favor. So you can't allow Brady to stay untouched and comfortable in the pocket, because it doesn't matter how many defenders you have. He's going to find the hole in the window and get it there.
Yeah, I mean, play some cut coverages, you know, make it, you know, one time you double Moss, the next time you double Welker. Make the quarterback thing. Right now, people are lining up and playing football, and I can't figure out why they're just doing that.
And with that, Tim Brown, we thank you and say so long until next week. For more of Tim Brown's insight and analysis on pro football, visit BulldogFootball.net. Now we take our first time out of the show. When we come back, is Chad Johnson going to be